Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So yesterday we talked about the so-called traitor Primaris that was hinted at by GW, the test of their loyalty, and today we have the story. We have the full story. I've read it all, I've gone through it all, and I have to say, I'm not impressed. It's a rarity for me. I thought this story was very, very stupid. I think that's really the only word I can use. Anyway, let's jump in. I'll go through it all, tell you the story, and you can make your own decision up and tell me what you think about it. So the basic story is that there's a custodian, there's sisters, and there is a Grey Shield chapter. For those of you who don't know what Grey Shield chapter is, Grey Shields are Marines that are on their way to reinforce another chapter to bring new light, to bring the Primaris into them, to make them stronger, better, you know, all that kind of stuff. Now, when they arrived at this planet to reinforce the chapter, to give them the Grey Shields, the actual chapter was called the Brazen Drakes, they find out that the chapter had turned traitor. Now, the shield captain, who was leading this fleet to reinforce the chapter, then basically turned around to the Primaris leader on the bridge and said, right, I'm arresting you for this act of treachery. And the Primaris guy's like, wait, what? It's nothing to do with me, basically, you know. We have nothing to do with this. We've been with you basically the whole time. Let's go down there. Let's see if, you know, there's still some loyalists on the planet still fighting to redeem themselves, to fight against these traitors, and let's assist them. And the custodian, who really, custodians are like the peak of humanity, but every time I've read them, apart from Chris Wright, they always seem the most stupidest people in the world. So props to Chris Wright for like bringing life into the Custodians that no one else has achieved so far. So the Custodian then launches an attack on the Primaris Marines. The Primaris captain at the time shouts through his vox, you know, we have been betrayed, you know, don't trust anyone outside the chapter, brothers. And the sister, of course, aids the Custodian in fighting the Primaris on the bridge. There's a huge battle and stuff. The captain of the Grey Shields is slain. The custodian and the sister carry on fighting as more of the Grey Shields start joining in the fight, and then they receive communication that the full fleet is basically experiencing like an uprising from the Primaris. But at the end of the day, the Primaris did absolutely nothing wrong. I'm a huge Custodian fan, don't get me wrong. I love the Custodians. But the Custodian captain in this story is an absolute dim-witted idiot. Why would you attack someone who literally has done nothing wrong? Yes, you brought them to the chapter to resupply them, but that doesn't mean that they're traitors. It makes literally no sense, this bloody story. I was scratching my head saying, what? This? What? This, no, you can't, like, you know, take the punishment out on a guy who's done nothing wrong. That is like the most stupidest way of going about it. No wonder, like they're rising up, because they've done nothing wrong. If anything, it's the custody guy and the sisters who have more or less done the acts of betrayal, because they fired the first shot. They launched an attack on a loyalist force of the Emperor. The ending is perfect. The ending is absolutely just... I actually laughed when I read the ending. So basically, the Sister of Silence signs to the custodian, you know, what did we start here, she actually says. And he says, we started nothing. He basically says then, it is time that they face the consequences of their actions. And I'm like, what actions? What actions have they done? They've literally done nothing. You fired the first shots. You attacked them first. You arrested them because someone else took heretical actions. It's like, just me, right? Okay. It's like me saying, right, I'm going to arrest all the Space Marine loyalist chapters in the galaxy because that one chapter over there went corrupt. It makes literally no sense, this story. Now, if you read it for yourself, I'm sure that someone will bring up that halfway through the story, the custodian makes the point that the heretical gene seed within your bodies is its own condemnation, which is a kind of a head scratcher for me again, since Grey Shield from the Dark Imperium books and the information we get from that, are actually made from the first founding chapters, you know, like the first Loyal 9 chapters, like the Imperial Fists, Ultramarines, etc., etc. It wouldn't actually be made from these brazen chapter, and, you know, they used to use their gene seed. Of course, that gene seed will come from some sort of first founding chapter, but the way it's making it sound in this story is that it's not from a first founding chapter. It's from their actual gene stocks of the brazen chaps, which is not the lore that's stated for Grey Shields in the Dark Imperium book. So I'm not too sure if the writer got confused with that. I'm not too sure if they're changing how the Grey Shield works, how, you know, what kind of gene stock they come from. I'm more confused than anything reading this story. I actually thought that this was actually going to be like a Fabius Bile S-type story of him, you know, creating monsters as you expect Fabius Bile to do, you know, taking the gene seed or taking like the actual Primaris Marine and adding stuff to it, maybe like more arms, maybe injecting it with like some kind of like steroids or something to make like this hulking monster of a Marine, you know, bulging muscles, all twisted and heretical as you expect Fabius Bile to do when he creates his bloody monsters. But instead we got this, a Renegade chapter, which is not really Renegade, which is only defending itself from being attacked, for taking actions that it had nothing to do with. Yes, so for me, this is not traitor Primaris. This is not disloyalty at all. This is just Primaris defending themselves from, you know, being attacked for absolute nothing. This is not heresy at all, in my opinion. Anyway, that's me done for another video, chaps. Just thought I'd bring you the story because I know we had a little nice discussion about it the other night. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback on it. Tell me what you think. Do you think that these Primaris are not renegades or traitors? Do you think they're in the right just for defending themselves like I do? Do you think the Custodes and the Sisters really are in the wrong in this story for taking the actions that they did? I would love to get your thoughts and feedback on it. Surely it's not just me who thinks this story is completely mad and stupid. Hopefully there's a lot more people out there who agree with me, because I'm still scratching my head in just like sheer confusion and amusement. Still thinking, what the literal hell is going on? At least we never got any traitor Custodes in my opinion. Sorry, not Custodes, Primaris, in my opinion. At least they're still loyal to the Emperor. You know, we don't have spikes or like horns growing out of them just yet. I'm sure there's a lot of Chaos players as well that are like, yes, no, the Custodes are not traitor. Yes, we don't want you Primaris touching my glorious Chaos ranks. I'm sure there's people out there thinking that as well. Right, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Again, leave your thoughts, feedback, everything like that down below, and more of a nice little talk as we always do down there. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.